Hey y'all, welcome back.
It's Wednesday, so you know
We're winging it.
Today we're joined by our friends and posse members,
Yes.
Howard and Betty, and they are part-time RVers who are going to share their experiences. So stay tuned. Okay, before we get started, let's quickly review the rules of Winging It. We're going to set the timer on my phone for 15 minutes since we're here with friends. We're going to talk about the topic. When the timer goes off, we'll wrap things up. Completely unedited, unscripted, and you get what you get. 15 minutes on the clock. We're winging it.
Well, we like to start off with, what do y'all travel in? What is y'all's mode of what RV?
Well, we have a 2016 Fleetwood Bounder Model 33C. It's about 34 feet long, and we tow either a Jeep or a Miata MX-5 convertible, which is what we brought this time. And it's so far it's been a wonderful vehicle. We've had it a year. We bought it used. And we like the fact that it's big enough for us. It's not too big, not too small. Seems to be just right so far. And we've got 960 watts of solar on the roof, 3,000 watt inverter, and 600 amp hours of batteries.
Wow.
So we can go pretty much anywhere we want, anytime, for as long as we want.
That's awesome.
Are those batteries lithium then?
Yes.
That is awesome. So what made you decide to do all of those upgrades that you've done to it?
Well, we bought the coach fully outfitted that way. That's the way we came.
awesome.
We found it that way.
What a great
That
find.
was
So
the attraction.
we didn't have to do the upgrades.
That's incredible. Well, just to let everybody know, we're all here at Jamaica Beach RV Resort.
Yes, we are.
Stacy and I had been here for a little while. Y'all just got here
last night
in
in the dark.
which we all talked about that, and I think y'all probably agree with us that that's not a fun thing to do.
That is not a fun thing to do at all.
Now, before we get on to other things, you mentioned that you towed your Miata. I know people are going to ask because that's an unusual car to pull. So do you pull it 4 wheels down, or how do you do it?
Well, it's not recommended by the manufacturer to really tow it, but it is a manual transmission. So we let off the brake and put it in neutral, and we flat tow it. And so far it has worked out well. We take a couple of precautions with the transmission. We slightly overfill it, but but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been fine so far. We've towed it about 12,000 miles.
Wow.
And so far we love it.
So far, so good.
We get some looks always.
I bet you do. What a fun car, though. I always love Miatas. And y'all are part of the Miata Club. So,
The Lone Star Miata Club in Dallas.
And that's how we kind of met y'all the first time. It was last year,
Yes.
earlier this year, I don't know.
yeah.
It was last year.
I think it was
Yeah.
last year.
And they were driving through the park because they actually had one of their things in Galveston, right?
Yes.
That y'all,
Yeah, the Galvez Hotel.
the Galvez
One of
Hotel,
our
which
challenge spots.
part of their club is they have to go around the spots and take a picture at that spot, and that the hotel was one of the places. So they knew we might be around. They were driving around the park, and boom,
We slammed on the brakes.
yeah, we were there. We may have been shooting and winging it. I don't know.
Maybe.
But we were not stalking.
No. Hey, they are awesome people. Yeah.
So, okay, so now let's talk a little bit more about your solar and your lithium setup. Have you had the chance to really try that out since you've been, because they take some fantastic trips.
They travel as much as we do. Let's put it that way.
We have not done as much boondocking as we wanted to yet. This year we had planned to do a lot more, but as you know, the circumstances have been not great for travel. But for RV travel, it's actually been pretty good, but
Yeah.
we still held back a little. We've done some out west that there's more opportunities for boondocking out there, but we really want to do more. We have a lot of capacity in our water tanks and a lot of capacity with the solar, so it just makes sense to have that kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's a lot of the reason that people, including ourselves, you know, spend the money for a toy like this, and it fast becomes more than just a toy. So we're really having fun with it, and we're hoping in 2021 with some of the plans that we have, and hopefully they'll open up the borders in Canada, and we can head north in the summertime and just really have some more fun.
Well, there's a special thing about Canada.
I'm Canadian.
Yeah. and
We
and
did.
how long have you been in the States then?
22 years.
Yeah.
Been in the States.
So when we do go north, we want you to go with us, so we
Yeah,
can tour
okay.
it.
absolutely. We have someone who can really show us.
So you talked about, you know, you're 34 feet here with your bounder. Is that, you know, we've heard, and we've never been to Canada yet, so we've heard that is one thing that some of the provincial parks, you need to have a little bit of a smaller rig to be able to camp and get around. Did that factor into your equation at all, or why did you decide on this size?
Yeah, well, we actually bought the rig. Actually, I guess I should say that when you bought your rig, you bought it specifically that size to be able to camp in any park,
Right.
and we kind of took that to heart.
and fun.
And
Take that into
you
consideration.
know, instead of getting 36, 38, or something even bigger, we wanted to keep it small enough, and we found that it was a statistic of like 78% of parks and sites in parks would handle this size of rig. So it worked out pretty well. And when I investigated parks and sites at the Canadian parks that we wanted to stay, it looked like there was a fit.
Oh, good. So you think when y'all get up there, you will be able to park in some of those parks?
Not only that, we have friends and relatives with driveways.
There you go.
But our plan is to tour the maritime provinces, and we're probably looking at a 12 to 14 month trip if we do it the way we want.
So you're both retired?
That's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
I've been retired for a year now.
Awesome. How about you, Howard?
No watch.
Yeah.
The day he retired, he took his watch off.
There you go.
Yep.
That's awesome. So I know that y'all have done some extended trips prior to this. What's the longest trip that you've taken with your RV so far?
Was the Utah trip maybe?
Yeah, we went
I
out
think we
west
went 45 days.
last year.
Wow. Yeah.
And that you did that in the middle of the pandemic, right?
We did.
Yes. Yeah, I guess
That was
it wasn't
great.
last
There
year,
was no
it was summer.
crowds.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah.
Good point.
But we have family in Reno, and so that's as far west as we went. And then we boondocked a little and worked our way back through Utah. We stayed at a casino, and there's a few other places like that. But Utah, Moab, and Green River, and places, and it was just phenomenal. But we had our Jeep. It was we have a 2020 Willys.
Which you can pull that as well.
Yeah.
4 wheels down, obviously.
Yeah.
I think our comfort level is 45 days, since we still have to be home and take care of our house.
That's true. Yep.
Sorry for the
Yep.
noise you heard in the background. We are winging it. We are at the campground, and they are replacing a
Propane
propane tank over there. So.
They've come to pick up the old tank, I think.
Yeah.
They did the replacement yesterday. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timing.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, and they were putting it in last night when we came in, so we had to maneuver around that. So I figure hey, if we can drive through Houston rush hour traffic,
get
there's no
around.
problem getting around a guy picking up a tank.
That's great.
It's all part of the adventure.
Yeah.
Now, what is your favorite place that you've been to so far?
Wow.
Moab.
I think Moab
sure.
really
For
stands
sure.
out because not only the scenery, but the opportunity to get off-road with our Jeep
Right.
and just have some great fun. And I know for Betty, she got excited when we got to the spot where Thelma and Louise went
Oh,
over the
yeah.
cliff.
That when they went over
Yeah.
the cliff.
Oh yeah,
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I told him that's where I want my ashes to be now.
There you go.
I always wondered where I wanted my ashes to be.
There it is.
There it is. Thelma
That's
and Louise
awesome.
spot.
that was a lot of fun. And then of course RVing in Texas, you can't beat it.
Oh, yeah.
The state parks, the federal parks, Corps of Engineer, and then you got some forests that you can park in, river authorities that you can just you have a whole plethora of places you can go.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to really thank you guys, because
Yeah.
we got a lot of our ideas from you, and we really appreciate what you've done.
Well, that's awesome.
We appreciate you guys
We
too.
Yeah.
never heard of the River Authority until we saw one of your videos, and we go, "Hey,
Isn't
what's
that
this?"
awesome? I mean, and the thing is, and that you're right. Texas, I think we're lucky because there are so many different options.
Yep.
And just the city parks, the county parks, and everything in between. There's not a ton of, public,
Like
say,
dispersed
boondocking area,
camping.
dispersed
Yeah.
camping,
Right.
Yeah.
but we have
Right.
everything else.
We have
Right.
everything
you know?
else.
And if y'all don't know it and haven't looked at their website, it's an amazing website. There's so much information about camping in Texas. I would go there before I would Google anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
We
Information
appreciate that.
is
Thank you. And we didn't
amazing.
pay him to say that.
And we know it's Stephanie that does the work. But it is just
It's
a
a wealth of
great site
information.
for camping in
Yeah.
Texas.
Well, we
So
really
thanks for doing all
appreciate it.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And we're making a lot of changes to it right now.
Right.
And I'm working through, hopefully making it a little more user friendly, even still, and
Yeah.
and even including more information specifically when it comes to the campgrounds. It'll make it a little easier to find, even.
Yeah, we're trying to make that section a lot easier to navigate.
Yeah. So,
And
but
that's
thank
coming.
you. We're glad you're enjoying it, and that
we love it.
it's useful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the history lessons that you give
Oh.
with the park reviews, and now you're doing the reviews about things that are around the parks
Yeah.
and stuff. So that's all good
Very so
information for
helpful.
those that want to
Tour
camp in
Texas.
Texas.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank
yeah,
you.
we do. I got one more question though.
Yeah,
back to your lithium and your solar and stuff. Can y'all run your ACs off your batteries? Have you tried to do that?
Yes, we haven't run both of them at the same time, but we can run one for a few hours.
Do you have a soft start on that AC?
No,
That's something you're going to want to do.
it probably is. I mean, the soft start will help you as an instantaneous
That's right.
startup. But I think we've got enough power to start the ACs.
But it will save a little battery power
Probably.
though. So if you have the soft start, it saves some of your amperage on your batteries, so you'll get longer time. If
Yeah.
we ever get lithium, which we hope
on the
to,
list.
it's on the list.
We all have a
definitely will
list.
It's
we'll
a
definitely
growing
get
list.
soft starts to help with that.
Yeah, Microware is a good company. They make good products, and I think that I've seen installs of it before, and for folks that have a limited amount of battery power and solar power, it keeps them from having to go to the next level of expenditure
Right.
to get around it.
Right.
I think that's a great idea.
Now, you mentioned making your plans for next year. How do you plan? Do you have a certain method that you go by, or a certain time frame that you plan out, or how do you do that?
Planning is the worst part of the trip. If you had to pick a bad part,
Right.
I mean, you start with an end point,
Yeah.
and then you try to pick a couple of places to make reservations, and then you kind of wing it through the rest of it.
Yeah.
That's the way we like to do it. Sometimes it works great, sometimes not so great, but all in all, it works pretty good.
Are y'all Harvest Host members or
No.
anything like that?
No.
No, we look at it. We hear, all of the YouTubers seem to be doing this, and
But I think
and
more
good for them.
full-timers.
But I got to
Take
tell you,
advantage
as
of
much as
Harvest
y'all
Host.
travel,
Mhm.
and especially since you have lithium batteries and all that, Harvest Host is, I think, a good deal. There's a lot of different things. It's not just wineries if you don't like wine. There's breweries, there's distilleries, and
golf courses.
and
golf
and now
museums,
museums.
farms,
So I mean,
animal sanctuaries.
it truly is a neat thing. You
Yeah.
don't have to be a full timer. I think you just got to be like y'all, where you travel quite a bit.
Right.
And when you're taking these longer trips, instead
Somewhere
of
to
staying,
stop for one night along the way.
it's perfect.
I think it would be, because now when we're planning some trips, there are a few overnight stops, and we think, well, where are we going to stay overnight? We don't really want to unhook.
Right.
You maybe don't want to stay in a Walmart parking lot.
Right.
And this is definitely an
So
upgrade,
that-
I think, from that.
Right. So, well, I think eventually we will become Harvest Host.
Yeah, it's a good overnight, along your path.
Yes.
And especially like you said, with the way you're set up
Yeah.
with your solar,
I mean, you're
dry
perfect.
camping
It's
Yeah.
no big
It's-
deal.
easy.
It's
I mean,
easy.
so and before we go, I know it's gone off, the timer's gone off, but do you have any, tips for folks that might want to travel extended periods without, while still having a house, or anything that, you might give to folks as ideas for things to think about?
Yeah, for me, I would say that if you're interested in it, just get started
It
and
can
do
be
it
done.
as quick as you can with what you can camp with.
Yeah.
Yes,
We
I
started
agree.
with a bumper pull, 25-foot bumper pull, and we had a blast.
Yeah.
And we didn't go on real long trips, but we camped around Texas
We
quite
went
a
to
bit.
Mississippi,
Well, yeah,
so
Yeah.
with it.
yeah. But it was it kind of got us. It verified that we were interested enough to take another step,
Right.
and we just found out we really liked it,
Yeah.
and we just can't wait to get out all the time. So I know when we get home after this trip at the end of the month,
Ready.
we're going to be ready to turn around and go again. How fast can we go to the grocery store?
There's a couple of things we have to do as part-timers is, in the summertime, we have to hire somebody to do our lawn.
Right.
So
Right.
there's a few things like that we have to, take care of.
Sure.
Yeah.
But not a whole lot. I think there's
No, we've got
lawn
we got it
maintenance.
down. We want to make sure pipes don't freeze, and
Uh-huh.
we live in a neighborhood where we need to keep things looking pretty
Sure.
decent, and so the pool has to be maintained. There's a few things, but we've got everything to where it's self-sufficient now. So if we wanted to be gone 3 or 4 months at a time,
Probably
it's not a problem.
That's awesome.
And I guess you have proven that you can travel in an RV during a pandemic.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
This is unprecedented times, and you were still able to get
Right.
out.
Because we're self-contained.
Right.
Yes.
I think it's safer for us when we're in the RV than when we're home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I totally agree, and this is a point from the beginning that I've been trying to make, is that I don't understand why any state out there, and I'm just going to say it, would close down their campgrounds, because it's a safe way to
It's
go.
Very safe.
And I just hope that they'll continue to keep them open, and I know some other states are closing them again, and I hope they're watching this, because open them back up.
Yes.
People need the parks and the campgrounds.
Well, the management and the staff at the parks are really doing their part.
Right. Oh yeah.
You know, it's not like they're wide open, up in your face. Everybody wears masks, keeps their distance, hand sanitizer. Common areas are not open.
Right.
But if you want to camp and have fun at a campground, you can still do that because you're always, 50 to 100 or 200 feet away from someone else at all times.
Yeah.
Right.
Even right here, we're at a reasonable distance.
Right.
And let's face it, one thing that almost everybody agrees with in this is that vitamin D is good for you.
That's right.
Getting
That's true.
outside is good
It's
for
good
you.
for
The
you.
CDC even says it. Everybody says it. So I just think they need to keep the campgrounds open. It's a good thing.
It is.
Yep.
Amen.
On that note, we really appreciate y'all sitting down with us, and we're excited to be able to hang out a little bit while you're
for
here.
the month.
Yeah, absolutely. And if y'all have any questions, we know they'll check the comments
Oh,
and
they'll
everything
check
because
them.
they leave us comments. So.
Always.
So if you have any questions specifically for Howard and Betty, make sure you drop them a comment down below and they can answer you directly. And thank you so much. Thank you for being
Yeah.
also
Well, thank
members
you.
of our posse.
Yeah,
we
that's
certainly
awesome.
appreciate it.
Oh, we appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to say too that this park, at least for me, is kind of a bucket list. I moved to Houston in 1980, and it was a long time ago. And I remember this park from coming to Galveston all the time. And before I even thought of owning an RV, and I thought, boy, this is a nice place. I'd like to stay there sometime. And so finally last night we rolled in, and so this is kind of a bucket list item for me. And I'm just really happy to be here. So, and everybody's been so nice here at the park so far.
That's awesome. Well, I hope
Yeah.
y'all love it as much as we do.
That's
'cause,
for sure.
This is it's like our home park now at this
Yep.
point, and
I can see why.
so we're glad that you put it on your list and made your plans, and now you're here.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
that is awesome. Well, until next time, we will see y'all on Sunday. Keep on winging it. We look forward to hearing from you. Safe travels.
And happy camping.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.